Hello, I'm Sam Walowitz, and I'm a senior at Lafayette High School.
I am Vedha Inampudi. I'm also a senior at Lafayette High School, and today we have Dr. Curtis Cain with us.
Good morning. It's great to see both of you.
Our first question today is, how will Prop S improve school safety?
What we're looking to do as a result of Prop S is expand the number of school safety officers that we have here in the Rockwood School District. Typically in each quadrant we have an SSO that is rotating literally from the start of the day to the close of the day across that specific quadrant within our school district, checking out buildings, being on the inside of schools, checking doors, but just providing that physical presence. You will see our SSOs that are there to help complement and support what school resource officers or members of law enforcement, additional members of law enforcement are doing in terms of providing presence at our football games and some of our larger events. And so they have been a fantastic addition to what we've been doing in the Rockwood School District. I'll be frank, it was a big swing to put armed professionals and add them to what we're doing within our schools, but it's been exceedingly well received. We're very excited about the relationships that they've developed, the rapport that they help to strengthen within our school district, and we believe that adding 2 additional school safety officers would be a huge home run for the Rockwood School District.
How will this appear on the November ballot?
What it's effectively going to list is 45 cents per $100 of assessed valuation in terms of an increase to people's taxation rates. That's what will appear on the ballot. If you check out the Prop S website, you will see a snapshot of what the ballot language, in fact, will look like for both St. Louis and Jefferson County, but it's a much cleaner ballot as it relates to language with Prop S compared to what we had actually to put in place for Prop 3.
How do we know Rockwood is making the most of our taxpayer dollars?
So we, on an annual basis, produce a over 250-page document that speaks to all of our budgetary processes. It's a budget. It's independently evaluated by auditors, and we have had a long-standing history of having unmodified and clean audits within our budgetary process. We have open budget conversations in December, typically in December, May, and again in June, just providing all the literally granular details that anyone would have any questions about. Our budgets actually have qualified for 2 different forms of certificates of excellence from 2 different organizations, as well as the Meritorious Budget Award. And I will also say, when we think of expenditure per ADA in terms of what a school district spends to educate a child, we have one of, if not the lowest, expenditure per ADA rates in the entirety of St. Louis County. We have a very stringent process within our school district, and we're proud of that. And I want to be clear, that didn't just start 4 or 5 years ago. That's been a long-standing practice in the Rockwood School District, and we want all of our stakeholders and our taxpayers to understand we take expending and spending those dollars very, very seriously, and we're very mindful of what we do and how we go about doing it.
Why should someone vote for Prop S?
So I cannot say what someone should or should not do. What I will tell you is I would strongly encourage people to look at the website, look at the informational materials that are coming out, and just be informed. I personally believe that regardless of what's on the ballot, we have an obligation to cast our ballot. Be informed to ultimately cast your ballot. You decide what you're going to do, but make sure that you are informed. Participate in this privilege in terms of being able to cast a ballot. But I will tell you that when we look at what's happening with the competitive nature of salaries for our teachers, but for every other employee group within the Rockwood School District, and we want to continue to be one of the top school districts, I personally and professionally believe, not only in the state, but in the nation, but we are losing ground to other school districts competitively. We want to be at the front of the pack with literally any and everything that we do as a school district. And we know that competitive salaries and benefits for many of our employees absolutely makes a difference. The most important thing that we do is provide this opportunity for learning, both in the classroom and outside of the classroom, and it takes quality staff in order for that to happen. We have a fantastic tradition, and we want to see it continue to move forward in the Rockwood School District.
What would you say is the main goal of Prop S?
To make us competitive, to keep us being competitive with what's happening when it comes to staff salaries. Schools of education are beginning to close or restrict what they're doing on the collegiate level, which is impacting the teacher pipeline. We know that there's likely to be a continued need, right, critical need, when it comes to staffing, not just for teachers, but for all employee groups within school districts. We want to stay competitive in the Rockwood School District. Having an awareness of what's going on within St. Louis County is a part of being in St. Louis County. And we know that we're falling behind. We've got to get ourselves in a position to not only run, but run really, really well compared to what's going on elsewhere in county.
Okay. When was the last time there was an increase or something that Prop S represents, and what was the result?
That, it passed. The year was 1994. That literally means that there are staff members that started their career and ended their career in the Rockwood School District and never saw something like Prop S actually placed on the ballot. That is an exceedingly long period of time. We don't take this lightly in any way, shape, or form to put a tax increase on the ballot, but we know that it's needed, and that's the reason it's before our community. It's been a very, very, very long time, but I can tell you it's something that's needed.
Where exactly is the money going for the tax increase?
So just about $27 million, the estimate is $27 million of proceeds, additional expenditures, will be coming into the Rockwood School District. Just over $17 million of that amount will be dedicated toward salary adjustments. We're going to engage in a comprehensive study where we will lay our salaries compared to what's happening elsewhere in the county and figure out what adjustments ultimately need to be made. We're going to look at areas that need the most assistance and make sure we're providing some differentiation there. But all groups are going to be examined, but we know that some groups are going to need more attention than others. Just over $3.7 million will be dedicated toward closing the gap of healthcare eligibility that we have for some of our staff. We have staff members that are in fact full-time or full-time equivalent employees, and they don't qualify for healthcare benefits. The truth is, in St. Louis County, those exact same positions that are in other school districts do qualify for benefits. And so even if we are able to actually bring or recruit that staff member on board to our school district, there's a very strong potential that we could ultimately lose that staff member. It puts us in a complete place of competitive disadvantage. So we're working to eliminate that. It will cost us about $180,000 to bring on board 2 additional school safety officers because of how well they've been received within our school district, and to be frank, how well they've been treated by not only our staff, most definitely our students, but also parents within our school district. We have great confidence that we will be able to bring 2 additional fantastic school safety officers on board. And then the other major bucket of expenditure will be making sure that we keep our fund balance at 22%. And that is there for a number of reasons. We don't necessarily know what's going to happen with state or federal funding, but we need to have some cushion so that we can absorb whatever is going to in fact come from those funding streams in the future. And so it's a longstanding Board of Education policy that we've had within Rockwood, and some proceeds will be dedicated toward that fund balance.
Okay. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
I think that your questions were very comprehensive in nature, and I always appreciate the opportunity to be able to share what's going on in the school district, not only across Rockwood, but most definitely here in Lafayette as well. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.